Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by. On the morning shift.
Anything
could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
All right, and good morning, everyone. I do apologize for the late start this morning and the technical difficulties that we had yesterday morning. Out of our control, out of my control anyways, and we did everything possible we could to get the show on air yesterday, and we painstakingly worked on the issue, and we rectified it at about 5 minutes left of what we could have had of a show. So we just postponed it. Anyways, so we're here today, and another technical difficulty, that which I've never seen before. Everyone is brand new. There's all kinds of interesting technical difficulties that could happen. Even when you take every possible precaution and backups for backups and try and think of everything. When it comes to hardware and software, there's many things that could happen. And so I've been sitting here with just trying to have patience watching the circle of death happen on one of the programs. It's, it's the thing that gets us onto CKLU 96.7 FM, in which we are live right now. So welcome all of those people listening. I'm sorry that we are indeed late. However, we are here, and it's going to be a great show. We're also streaming at cklu.ca. You can download the Radio Player Canada app there and listen to us anytime, anywhere on your favorite device. We're also on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, still happily and grateful for those platforms and those that make it possible. The moderators who have to make sure that community standards are upheld, all that stuff. We're grateful for it. We're grateful for you sticking with us and, waiting to come on, and you're here, and it's just a wonderful thing. And we'll have Pierre joining us momentarily. I was going to say he's going to be with us in quite a long time. However, he's going to be with us very shortly because we got off to a rather late start this morning. And with that, good morning, Monique. Hope you are doing well this morning. Again, my apologies. And Rob here. Rob's been sharing some really great links to some really valuable information that I really encourage you to, whatever Rob shares, to click on it, because it's definitely information that's definitely important. So you want to get that in. So thank you very much, Rob, for sharing those things. Good morning, Denise. Thanks for being with us this morning. And again, another link. So all kinds of links, Rob. This is really wonderful. So if anyone, we call it the deep dive here. We try and do something that's of some kind of importance that people may not hear in mainstream news each and every day here on the show. And you definitely have probably about a whole month or two worth of deep dives just in the couple days you've been sharing videos. So thank you for that. Shane, good morning. Happy Friday. Thanks for being with us this morning. Diane, bon matin. Everyone, for sure. Thank you for being with us as well. And Mona, good morning. Happy you're back. Thank you. I am happy I'm back too. Thank you so much. Feeling the love. And with that, let's dive right in. David, stay safe. Yes. I was waiting for you to come on there, David. And appreciate all of you for being on. And I hope you're having a wonderful Friday. The weather's looking a lot nicer than it's been. So let's dive right in to that. And good morning, Denise. Good morning from Espanola. Yes, the weather's nice in Espanola and nice, hopefully, as well in Greater Sudbury. Let's check it out right now. We'll be back right after this. And your Sudbury weather is brought to you by sudburyweather.ca, as usual. And 6 degrees currently, mostly cloudy. And today we can expect cloudy. That's not what I want to hear. And that's not what I'm seeing right now, but I guess they're forecasting it to be cloudy. And 16's the high, however, warm or moderate. And tonight, cloudy, becoming partly cloudy in the evening. And then tomorrow, mainly cloudy. Where the heck is the sun here? That's what I want to know. The sun's on vacation, apparently. Saturday, mainly cloudy. This is not what the forecast was looking like even yesterday. High of 15 tomorrow. Sunday, chance of showers 30%, high of 17. Well, 70% chance of it won't rain. But anyways, Monday, mix of sun and cloud, high of 18. And Tuesday, chance of showers 30%, high of 15. Wednesday and Thursday of next week, 20 and 19 degrees, respectively, and mix of sun and cloud. So I don't know what's happening with the weather, but or what we did wrong to deserve it, but we're getting a lot, or there's a lot of plants out there that need it. If you want to look at the positive, this is the weather. This is what it looked like yesterday, May the 4th at 9:30 p.m. So last night, this is what our satellite view looked like. And for those on the radio, just a lot of clouds and precipitation activity. That is your weather, brought to you by SudburyWeather.ca. As we're hoping for better weather, I'm sure if we all just hope for it, can't do any harm anyways. Sure it can't hurt. We'll be back with a little bit of sports and news headlines, Pierre Bonhomme, and your comments right after this. Big night tonight at the Sudbury Community Arena, where the Five start the playoffs against the Windsor Express. And not only tonight, they'll be tomorrow as well. So there's the first round of the NBLC playoffs. Tip-off for both tonight and Saturday's games are scheduled for the regular 7 p.m. Friday's game is sponsored by Creator's Choice, and then Tristan Ritchie, Realtor, heading into Saturday's game. The first 500 fans in attendance will receive 5 Thunder Sticks. Well, not just 5. They won't receive 5 Thunder Sticks, but they'll receive Sudbury 5 Thunder Sticks to help encourage the team. Friday marks the start of the real battle. Bring the noise and secure your tickets at the Sudbury Arena box office or online at greatersudbury.ca/tickets. Get out there. Support Sudbury 5. I know a lot of people have been giving away tickets, so if you haven't been able to win them, they're still not all that expensive. And even with inflation, they haven't gone up. So you can get out there and have a wonderful time with your Sudbury 5 tonight and tomorrow night. Get out there and support them. This is your Sudbury Sports Report, brought to you by Randy Pascal, who was on CBC Radio this morning, if you had a chance to hear him talking about the possibility of a Sudbury Sports Hall of Fame and the dinner that they're having. So all you do is you Google Randy Pascal, Sudbury Sports Dinner, and you can get some tickets for that. And it sounds like it's going to be a really great shindig. And thankful to Google that we can just Google these things. And he said you can just Google his name and contact, and you'll find out how to contact him to get your tickets for that. And so this sports segment is brought to you by him. He's that Sudbury Sports guy, and his website, sudburysports.com. We'll be back with some news headlines, breaking down what's happening locally and abroad with all your comments and more. Pierre Bonhomme, after this. Okay, and we'll see how well we can do with all this stuff. There's so many news headlines happening because we didn't have a show yesterday, right? And we shared all of the news from the day before, so we haven't really talked about it. So let's see if we can work our way through all the various things going on in our city. And there's lots left out as well. You know, I have to give a shout out to the Sudbury Star, first of all, for their coverage of local news yesterday alone. Like, if you just go to their Facebook page, Sudbury Star's Facebook page, Sudbury after Sudbury after Sudbury story. And, you know, and this has to be encouraged because I even noticed I went to Sudbury.com, which used to seem to be, you know, more covering local stories. And there was a lot less local and more regional and national and international on Sudbury.com. But Sudbury Star had story after story after story, Sudbury-centric, digging right into all the different local stories, which I really appreciate. And any of the local reporters who are doing this, we really appreciate this as Sudburyans, local news. And so support them, support all local journalism, keep it alive, because if we lose that, we lose so much. And so there's a big attack against journalism in general, and local journalism has been going. It's been getting, you know, they're not able to make as much money as they used to because advertising's changed because of the internet stuff. So, anyways, good morning with that, Jesse. Thanks for being with us. Sudbury rent is nuts. We need to stop this BS. Okay, well, you're right. Rent everywhere in Canada is up. Got a little bit of a video if we get a chance, a little bit of a rant. Hopefully we'll be able to get to it on how our country's doing financially, and what are some of the, you know, what state is our country actually in these days? Have we been doing good? Belinda, you're back. Yes, we're back, and we're grateful that we're back and you're back too. Good morning. Thanks for being with us. Denise, sunny in the trailer park right now. Yeah, that's what I thought too. You know, it's sunny the whole drive here with a few clouds, and everything's just talking about cloudy. But I'm sure if we put our, you know, we kind of willed the sun to come out, the sun might listen to that. You know, you never know. It can't hurt. Good morning, Monique. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for being on. We got quite a few people right now. Let's go through some of the Sudbury headlines. This is from CTV Northern Ontario. Help available for Dowling residents experiencing drinking water issues. And we were told this by one of our viewers the other day. I think it might have been Wednesday. Not sure if it was Vin. But good morning, Vin. Speaking of you, you're right there. Thanks for being on. Sorry we got to a bit of a late start this morning. Help available for Dowling residents experiencing drinking water issues. So help is available for people in Dowling experiencing water issues because of flooding. And here you go, right? Flooding concerns continue in parts of Sudbury. Parts of Greater Sudbury continue to deal with flooding concerns after the aftermath of the spring warm-up a few weeks ago, and the rain, I'm sure, didn't help at all. Way too much rain. That's also from CTV Northern Ontario News. How your distance to a fire hall helps determine your insurance rates and how that might all be changing. That's interesting. From CBC Sudbury, insurance companies set rates partly based on your distance to a fire station, but it varies from provider to provider based on how much risk they are willing to take on. So, and this is coming out as PR based on Beaver Lake and other outlining areas, Skeed, Minnow Lake, Levack, all the areas around that are going to be affected through the decisions that are made about our emergency services and our fire halls, right? So here's a story. It's worth reading. It may impact you. See if there's anything you can do to lessen the impact that it has on you. Number of homeless continues to creep up in Sudbury. This is from Sudbury.com. There are more people in need than there is affordable housing, says city official. And most of them are from Sudbury, and that's to go along with our comment here from Jesse saying rent prices are crazy here in the city. Not only that, well, that's the reason why rent prices are so high, right? There's just not enough housing in Sudbury. And so we have a huge homeless problem. Here we have Dawn checking in here. The rent in some of the dumps in the city is outrageous. Yeah, no, again, right? If you don't have enough housing, it's basically supply and demand. However, we're supposed to have checks and balances in place, right? People are only supposed to raise the rent so much, a very small percentage. That's if someone's living in the apartment. If they're out of the apartment and then they renovate it and then they put it up for rent, it can be as much as they want it to be. And I'm sure a lot of people are taking advantage of that. Okay, so after you wanting to defund journalism, no, I never said I wanted to defund journalism. I want people to pay for it the right way, not through tax dollars. I'm not a friend of socialism, so not defund journalism. Have them earn it the way that journalists make money, and that's through if it's worth something, people will pay for it. You're now wanting people to support journalists, yeah. So if you've been watching this show or listening to it for any period of time, you know that we're all about supporting local journalism. I have a website called Sudbury.news, and on there, it's a news aggregator. It brings all the news, local, regional, and abroad. But we mainly take local news and aggregate it onto a local news page, but it has all the local journalist outlets on there, free of charge. I paid for that. I paid to make it. I did it myself, and then paid to maintain it, paid for all the hosting and all the updating and all the bug fixes. And I take my time and energy to do that free of charge to all the news agencies out there because I believe in journalism. And that's there to promote it. So someone could just go on there, check out all the news stories in one place, click on it, and it goes to their story because it is their story. So it's not stealing, it's actually promoting. And they click on it, it goes to their site, which then makes them revenue because eyeballs on websites, they can go to advertisers and say, look, how many people we have on our website, and here it is. Now, the thing I don't agree with publicly funding our media is that it can get watered down because then they're not going to properly cover the people that are paying their salaries. If you don't agree with that, then I don't know what to say to you. Go to your boss and tell them you don't agree with things they're telling you. The people that are in charge of your paychecks, tell them you don't agree with them and see what happens. Keep doing it too. And follow them around and publicize the things they're doing wrong and see how long you have your job for. Not very long. So that's as quick as a way I can explain it. And if you don't understand that, then I don't know what to do. However, so I don't agree with publicly funding our media. So yes, I do think that we should have media and journalists. Just they shouldn't be funded by the very people that they should be watching and keeping accountable. All right, that's all I'm going to say about that, I think. All right, so Judy, good morning. Thanks for being on and with us. Hope you're having a great morning. Also, Wade Hine from Pass It On Undercoating. Close. Okay, so also close. The closer you are to a fire hydrant makes a difference as well. For insurance, you are so right on that, Wade. And with that, good morning. Thanks for being with us. Jesse, not a problem. Oh yeah, that is BS for sure. That the landlords can just raise rents and whatever, and it's supply and demand, right? So if the supply is low, the demand is high, you can charge whatever you want. It's like you go to Canada's Wonderland and they don't allow you to bring anything in to drink. So the demand of drinking things or fluids is high. The supply is only from one source. So that's also a different thing. If then that's what I don't agree with publicly funded journalism either, because it could become the only journalism we have now that the government is spending billions to CTV, Global News, other news outlets other than the CBC. So everything's becoming government-funded media. So it's one supply, one-stop shop for your news. Anyways, it's not cool. And it's already bad enough anyways with other interests trying to get the news to lean in their direction. We don't need that. on top of it. Why should people penalized because the city can't provide free services for its people? We pay enough in taxes. Yeah, taxes. New carbon tax. So city is one thing. There's city taxes, provincial taxes, and federal taxes. I was just thinking about, I was looking at my income tax because that's what's going on right now in my life. And I look at my income tax notice of assessment, and I'm going to get a rebate or something for carbon tax. They're going to pay me $200 for this carbon tax thing. So basically the government is paying people off thinking they're getting money when they're not. They're paying way more than they are. They're putting a tax upon tax on the gas. So think of this. They're taxing the tax on gas in the name of carbon emissions. They're taxing the tax. People should be very outraged when they start taxing tax. And it's already a tax on tax in gas if you look at it. Tax upon tax upon tax. What is it? I forget. An astronomical percentage of gas is just tax anyways. And then they add that on. And then they give you a little bit back saying, look, no. And they're trying to actually sell it. And this is the problem I have with publicly funded media. They try and actually sell it through the media that it's a positive thing, that you're actually going to make money. A lot of people are going to be better off making more money with this high inflation, hyperinflation we're having, tax on gas for the carbon tax. No, but don't worry. You're going to get a check and you're going to make money off this. And it's spun through the media. And they have reporters who actually kind of try and spin it that way, which it's not the case. My $200 I'm getting is not going to offset the $30 per week I spend extra in gas alone, let alone all the other things I'm paying. I'm not going to end up ahead of the game. Don't sell it that way. Sell it for what it is. Okay. There's enough places rent in cyber landlords are too greedy. They should be charged for vacant properties. Yeah, possibly, for sure. I'm not sure about that. Denise has a link here she's sharing. Espanola Pride into our public areas. Check them out. Library soon also. Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, anything you guys want to share on the show of what's going on in your communities, obviously. Cyber, instead of cyber, it was Sudbury. Thank you, Jesse. Yeah, it didn't make much sense to me at the time. But great. Thank you, Monique. Okay, that's just resharing it. David, back again. So if it's worth something, it should be paid for, but not by the taxpayers. Okay, I hope I explained myself enough, David, to answer your question there. I hope so. I hope that was sufficient. Dowling's underwater, and the dams above them can't be closed for fear of failure. Oh, no, you're kidding. That's terrible. A new person on here. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but let's see if I can try here. You're not showing up on this feed, just on the... No one wants to support government-funded media with a biased agenda. Correct. Yeah. And we've seen through third-party watchdogs that CBC is left-leaning and biased. And I've heard it. Even with the Bill C-11 that just came out, it's really going to target media people like me, volunteers who just really want to dig and get to the bottom of things. They're just going to deplatform you and only give voice to the big guys who they're funding. Obviously, what does that tell you? And the CBC's comes out and does the story on it. And they're like, is it something we should be worried about? And the reporter's like, no, it's actually really good. Now, there are some conservatives who think it's going to be bad, but obviously they're crazy. They didn't say that. But that's the tone of the voice. If someone rolls their eyes, body language can say a lot. It's on the radio, but tone of voice says a lot. There are some conservatives who think it's going to be whatever. That's just a small fringe group, though. So that they didn't, however, which most unbiased media would do, is have the other side come on, give them a voice, and say, "Oh, let's hear from some of these the small group of people who believe it's going to be damaging to them in some way." I know we should just take what they say with a grain of salt, but let's listen to them anyways. No, they don't even do that. They just have the one person speaking for the other side. They speak for the other side. So look, there's a lot of independent media that could have easily had someone on saying, now here's so-and-so from this media organization, because it is their tax dollars as well paying for the CBC's reporter to do the story, right? So it would be very unbiased and very friendly to journalism in general to get the other side's story on it. But they just say, no, it's like people too, when they were afraid of the vaccines coming out. They were like, there are a small group of the what did they coin them as again? Anti-vaxxers. They always have a coined phrase for them too. Climate deniers, anti-vaxxers. They give them a term and then it's derogatory, and then they just perpetuate that, and that's what they call them, and they don't hear from them. Let's hear from an anti-vaxxer. No. What they're saying is dangerous. You can't actually hear someone with an opposing view on publicly funded, tax-paid radio. Now, they're paying their taxes, but they can't have their voices heard on the radio. So why am I paying taxes then? So I came up with an idea before. I thought we should have an alternate radio station to the CBC that on our tax forms every year you pick just the other side. So that way it forces one and the other to be legitimate, because the competition helps this happen. So no one's going to listen to the CBC anymore. They're all listening to this other radio station that's really unbiased, because I love a documentary that gives you both sides. Gives you both sides and allows you to make up your mind, not tell you what the truth is, what they think, right? So, checkbox on your tax forms, because it's tax money paying for it. I'd like a choice in my media then, a little bit. I favor this one because it seems to me to be more unbiased, and I'm going to support that one. And the more and more and more the one is actually biased, and people don't like that, the less and less and less it gets funded, the less it has journalists, and just like in the business world, in the private sector, if you don't like the product, it doesn't do anything for you. It's not what they promised it was. You're not going to buy it anymore. See how the free market works? It just has its own way of working things out. Now, can corruption happen in the free market? Friggin' right, it does, and it has, and we see it in terms of crony capitalism. It's all over the place. That's what gives the far left, the extremists, the dangerous rebel far left people something to look at and go, look at the crony capitalism. We need to burn it down. And that's and case in point, I agree with you on the corruption you're pointing out, because that sucks. And there needs to be something about that too. However, the free market, how it works is that, like I just said, but if you are going to have taxpayers' money, I need to have a bit of a choice too. And the same thing should work with healthcare as well. Oh, you want to do your healthcare the way it is right now? Well, let's have another competition healthcare system that's going to take my tax dollars, and I'd rather give it to the one that's working rather than the one that's broke. But that's the thing about socialism. One size fits all, one-stop shop. The quality goes down. Just ask yourself, is your standard of living going up or down right now? What are some of the reasons for that, right? Okay. The media is spineless. Well, correct, because who's paying their paychecks? Who's paying them? Okay, Denise chiming in here. I hope everyone gets a chance to read that. I cannot, because my eyesight, for one, I apologize for that. I'm having a hard time reading the one-liners. Shane says, let the free market determine how media is funded. What's interesting? A lot of us are on the same wavelength. I didn't read your comment, but obviously we were on the same page with that. Stephen, great to see you on, Stephen. There's a special law that governs the CBC that prevents bias or influence from the government. Interesting. There's also special laws that stop our government from doing things that are illegal, but somehow it doesn't stop them, right? They seem to get away with all kinds of stuff. The government, they should be under contract. No performance, no job. Simple. Yeah, for sure. Has a politician ever gotten away with something that was illegal in the past? Do you think? Once? Do you think it ever happened? Ever once? A politician, let's say just in Canada, let's say Ontario, let's say Sudbury. You know what I mean? So let's even just drill it down. Ever do something illegal and get away with it? Even though there's laws. So laws for certain people are meant to whatever. And third party watchdog, I forget their name now, but I've shared it on the show. They're a not-for-profit, and they basically study media bias. And they showed the CBC was for sure on the left. They do have a bias. So whatever laws are out there preventing it, they ain't working. They ain't working. Monique, government controls the news. Yeah, well, again, whoever's paying you is going to have a say, regardless, even if it's, unspoken. And this is the thing, too. It is a fact, if you talk to anybody working in the CBC, their political leanings, you will have a hard time finding anyone conservative or on that side, on the right. You'll have a really hard time. And if they were, they're not going to last very long there because it's not a conducive environment. And they do not share the other side on CBC. I don't care what anyone says. Just case in point, the Bill C11 coverage from the CBC reporter just the other day just shows that. They speak for the other side. And they don't divulge their political leanings when they're talking. They don't say, well, actually, I am liberal. I voted liberal for my whole life. My parents did too. I do vote liberal all the time. And I do think, that is my ideology. They don't say that. Even though I would go out on a limb and say that they are. I hear it in the way they speak. I hear it in the little woven in things they put in when they're talking. And I would love anyone to come forward to show me someone who is a legitimate conservative working in that organization. It's just the fact. So if you have all of one political leaning ideal, everyone belongs to the same ideology. What kind of news are you going to get? You can't help but have bias. How can you police bias? What kind of laws do you put in place that are going to stop someone from putting in a word or two that spins something? And who's going to hold the media accountable? What laws? The liberals are going to hold a liberal leaning media organization accountable? What the heck? Yeah. Okay. Enough said about that one. So Vin, and getting the CRTC Bill C11 won't help that in the least. And again, they're spinning it, right? And you can hear the lies. It's about Canadian content. It's Canadian content. We're trying to help Canadians. No, you're not. You're trying to censor the Canadians that you don't agree with. Okay, that's it. Done. That's what it is. If Margaret Atwood, of all people, come out and totally think this is like totally 1984, then it is. Margaret Atwood's not conservative one bit politically. And Margaret Atwood, connection with Sudbury and Laurentian University. We have her birthday parties here. She comes here often. It'd be great to have her on the show and get her side of it. Very well-spoken lady as well. I love Margaret Atwood. Not because she agreed with my point there. I actually listened to a lot of things I didn't agree with her, but I just thought she put it in a way that at least it's intellectual. Landlords can only raise the rent. Yeah, 2 points. Very, very low percentage. Exactly. Thank you, Caribbean, for chiming in on that. That's what got us off on this tangent, I guess. Rent somehow. Or maybe some of our comments as well. Jesse, well, Ontario Disability Support Program gets away with killing us. Now, I'm not sure exactly how that would be, but I would have to know more on that, obviously. But with Fox News, yeah, so Fox News, the place to go for accurate, unbiased news. No, I've never said that. I've actually said they are biased to the right. Only if that's what you want to hear. No, Dave. I guess I thought that you listened to the show regularly. I see you on here regularly, but I guess you're not getting what I'm saying, or you're not listening. One or the other. Fox News is right leaning. CBC is left leaning. It's just a fact. But I bet you don't watch Fox. Because you don't want to hear what they have to say, right? So you got to just look in the mirror there. I do. Listen to CBC. It's the only thing I got in the car. I can't help but be in Sudbury and not listen to left-leaning news or see it or watch it. How could you not? It's bombarded. I have to go out of my way to see Fox News. I have to pay for it as part of my cable plan. I can't just, it's not just part of it, right? So I got to go out of my way to watch it. I got to go out of my way to watch any type of alternative media other than what's just out there in the public, on the radio, on the TV. CNN's included in your package. CTV, CBC, as they should. They're Canadian. But CNN's American. Why is that included in our cable package? Because they say the same thing as CBC does. That's what it is. The CRTC is over that. And now there's a complaint gone through the CRTC from something Tucker Carlson said that there was a trans person that targeted Christian people in a Christian school, killing 3 Christian little girls and their teachers or parents or people, adults at the school. And he says that was filled with hatred. And so someone from Canada got offended by that and went to the CRTC and said, we got to take them off, make it illegal for anyone to have Fox News, just take it off the cable packages and make it so that way people can't get it in Canada. And Tucker Carlson, even after he was fired, the CRTC is still going out there and going to, they're going to ask Canadians if they want Fox News in Canada or not. So again, here's another voice that you're just taking away. I'm all for more voices, and I can decide for myself. David, you're a grown man. I'm thinking. I don't know what gender you identify as or what pronouns you have. So I'm just going out on a limb, and I'm just, again, I apologize if I'm not correct on that. However, are you for canceling voices, or can you not distinguish between truth and error? Can you not tell if someone is telling the truth or not? Can you not tell? Do you just want one homogenized, watered down, one-sided news? Or would you like as much? I want as much as possible. If everyone agrees, there's got to be a problem with something. Everyone agrees on everything? Is that real? Like, wow, what a world we'd be in if everyone was like a robot walking around saying the exact same thing, dressing the same way, looking the same way, all in their gray cars, in their gray homes. Wow, sounds like super communistic to me. Maybe a lot of people want that, Ken. I think a lot of people do. Monique, carbon emissions, a complete hoax, correct? We shared the video on Wednesday on an alternative point of view from 500 leading scientists in the world saying they don't agree with the current climate position that all politicians are going with. The government welfare system by the overtaxed public. Yes, for sure. We're turning into a huge welfare state. We've been there for a long time. And a lot of comments coming in here. Here's Gary. I haven't seen you on for a while, or good morning. The fires in Alberta are being set deliberately. That's another thing too, right? Like, remember Australia a couple years back? It was totally on fire for the whole season. A lot of those were deliberately set. There's a lot of farms that are being attacked as well. A lot of food processing plants that are getting bombed or blown up or whatever. There's a lot of things going on here that the news is not covering. So climate change activists will go out and say, look at all the fires going on. Well, how many of them have been deliberately set? Who's setting those fires? Anyways, pretty crazy stuff going on that we just need answers for, and our mainstream media aren't asking those questions at all. We need to abandon Sudbury. This place is a crap shoot. I just changed the last part. For sure, Belinda. City should have been providing sand and sandbags for the flood in Dowling and Vermilion areas, such as such a travesty what happening in these towns. So again, that to me seems like community, right? Like there's a problem, everyone kind of gets together and solves the problem. Sandbags, you'd think the city, we talk about emergency preparedness. The city does have an emergency plan and things like that. You would think that we would be kind of, we are in a floodplain, so to speak. Like we are low-lining, swampy area. This is something that would happen as an emergency. Flooding is, and it doesn't have anything to do with climate change. We've had flooding since the 1800s and back. So it's just kind of like a flood prone area. So you'd think, yeah, we'd just be out there and everyone would be, now, Councillor Vagnini was in his area with sandbags. We shared that story on the news here. So there you go. That's kind of the idea of real boots on the ground, helping out your citizens. Really appreciate that. Completely manipulated weather. For sure, they can manipulate weather. It's a fact. They've been doing it since even before the 50s, for crying out loud. Landlords equal Adolf Hitler. Oh, that's funny. Thanks for the humor in that as well. So many comments here. I'm just going to kind of go through, and I'm not sure if we'll have a bit of a deep dive rant to end the show today. Maybe some of the reasons why we're seeing what we're seeing in our world. By Harrison Faulkner. I like his podcast, Ratioed. It's one of David's favorites as well. Here's David again. So are you asking now for another tax to support the news media like you? No, David, or Dave. No, I think it should be publicly supported. I think if you want this show to be on, you should be able to support it. If I ask you for money, which I'm not, I'm doing this, I'm paying for it myself. But if I was to, which I might in the future, I might have to, who knows? Then if you think it's worth something, you support it. If you don't, you don't. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Isn't that the way things work? Okay. Good. So we'll just get some of these. Okay. Yeah, Pierre Poilievre, he will bring in some conservative things. He'll slow things down a bit, but in a lot of ways, he's no better than Justin Trudeau on a lot of issues. You can just tell by what they vote on and for the big things that they support. So I'll just go out on a limb there and say, yeah, for sure. Most politicians, remember when everyone used to agree that politicians lied and they were crooks and, they were sleazeballs and all this stuff? Something happened that changed all that for a lot of people. They just think they're like godlike or something all of a sudden. If you want to change, hold them accountable for their misinformation and lies. Well, for sure. Yeah, you can just not listen to them again. That's why if we don't have anything else to tune into or whatever, kind of hard not to. It's hard for me not to turn on CBC in the morning just to kind of catch whatever the local news is on the way in. It's the only thing that's there. What do you think? Chinese state-run media, Russia, all these communist countries, there's just one media. There's only one source, and that's the government. They're going to tell you exactly what's going on, and that's what we've turned into. So there you go. A lot of people like that. That's fine. Sure. People like communism. They don't understand it. That's what I would think, because you ask someone in a communist country how they like their country, most citizens will say, it's not their cup of tea, really. They would love to have the freedom that we've enjoyed, and now we're going to be taking a turn. Yeah, they've taken off RT News already because of the war in Russia, and now they're after Fox News now to take that off. And all your comments here, thankful for them. Holy moly. I think we set a record on comments on the show. Maybe we should start every show late. Appreciate everybody. We really appreciate it. Oh, sorry, not Pierre Poilievre. Pierre was not able to come on the show. He was texting me during the show, but My phone's on the other side of the room here. And I just know he was saying he wasn't able to make it. So a little bit of Harrison Faulkner ratioed. I love this guy and his commentary. He is very right, by the way. He's not right in terms of he's right or wrong. He's right-leaning, and you can see his bias in this. But you need to hear this as an alternative to when you're hearing all the left media. You can at least hear this and hear what someone else who is very critical of our left government has to say, which you won't hear on mainstream media, which the media actually should be doing. So let's see here. Let's get some volume. I'll take it from there.
Country is failing? Is it when hundreds of thousands of children have to rely on food banks to stay alive in a country with over 89 million acres of cropland? Is it when your own people can't drink the water from their taps as the government spends billions in foreign aid projects around the world? Perhaps it's when violent criminals take over our cities and turn them into half-abandoned, unlivable hellscapes as the government is now offering to kill people who have simply had enough. Or perhaps it's when your own people just can't afford to live in their own country anymore as the government floods the country with millions of economic migrants. All of this is happening in Canada right now, in Justin Trudeau's Canada. None of it is normal, and absolutely none of it should be acceptable.
So one little story here about the food bank in Toronto, and then we got to leave it there. And I really appreciate everybody for being on, all your comments. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow, Monday, hopefully, if everything works. And have a great weekend, everyone. We'll just wrap it up with this.
There is a viral video circulating around social media right now of a snaking lineup outside a downtown Toronto food bank, and the video says all you need to know about what is going on in Canada right now. Canadians are literally starving in Justin Trudeau's Canada, and trust me, that is not an overstatement. Stick around for the Ratio of the Week prize, drop a like in the video, help us out by subscribing to the True North YouTube channel, and the comment question for the episode is this: have you ever seen Canada this bad?
So I'll leave that question with you. You can ponder that over the weekend. And thanks for being with us, everyone. Check us out on Facebook after if you haven't had a chance to see other shows or whatever. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and follow. Thanks for all your comments today. We'll be back same time, same place Monday. Stay tuned now for Earshot Daily here on CKLU 96.7 FM. Ciao, everyone.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.